You're with Teddy and Tony on Everyday Conversations, a podcast where two people get together every week and have a chat about what's happening in their lives, share stories with each other, and hopefully entertain you and keep you awake for, could be 30 minutes, could be an hour. We just let the conversation flow and see where it goes. I'm Teddy, and with me across the room on the internet, other side of, we won't tell you exactly where we live, but with me is Tony. Tony, how we doing?
Teddy, doing really well. It's a pleasure to be back. We always say this every single week. Favorite time of the week. How are you going?
I'm doing really well. I'm excited. The excitement levels are probably a little higher than normal this week, just because, I've had a bit of freedom of movement over the last week since the restrictions have gone down in Melbourne. We're up and about, I'm walking through shopping centres. I am out and about in the park, still wearing the mask, but just socialising with people, seeing people. Nothing too crazy, but just feeling a bit good. And look, it's on a weeknight here, and we're about to launch into the weekend. And mate, I'm happy. Summer's around the corner, but today feels like Antarctica. So other than that, I'm good. How are you going?
Yeah, no, pretty much echoing exactly what you're saying. It's been a really good week in terms of being able to get out and about, go to different places, see people. And I was about to ask you, how have you found it going to all these places that for the last 5 months have been pretty much vacant? But now I just feel like you go to a cafe and you kind of forget that people can sit now, and there's just people just sitting everywhere, and you're almost kind of taken aback, like it almost feels surreal and a little bit strange in a way of just that there's so many people everywhere. Like given how long it's been being surrounded by people, like do you feel that as well, or do you kind of just think, oh, how cool it is that there's just people
It feels
everywhere?
pretty, yeah, look, it feels pretty cool. So, look, lots of places, when the restrictions came down, say, a bit over a week ago, lots of places were pretty fortunate because when they did that, so I'm talking about restaurants, cafes, it coincided with some pretty warm weather. So the streets,
Correct.
tables and settings in the streets were allowed, and the restaurants looked great. But then you look inside, and the tables inside were pretty minimal. So as the weather's gotten a bit colder, you can see inside restaurants, and it looks like there's not as many people in there. I happened to go down to a local pub on Saturday, which was pretty cool. Went in, the vibe was good, the feel was good. It wasn't as packed, but it was good to be around people, and they'd spread it out in a good way that it felt pretty good. But what was your experience? Look, so for me, it felt good. There was enough room to move. The vibe was still kind of there, but I've seen some places that look like, oh, you've in a restaurant, but is the vibe really there? But look, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to go out to another couple places this weekend. How about you? What's been your experience?
Yeah, so I guess this kind of leads into the first segment of our show, which
Oh,
is
I didn't give everyone the whole breakdown of the show. Well, you know what, you can
no.
take it away. So the whole premise of the show is we get together and have a chat.
Correct, and we kind of loosely have 5 segments, that we share with each other. The first being, what was our highlight or favorite moment of the week? Something we found really, really interesting, on in the week. What's annoyed us, something we saw on social media, and then generally we kind of end the show by providing something to try. It could be anything as small as just a product, it could be a website, or it could be something a little bit more, something to try out. So that's pretty much the premise of the show. In the first part about the highlight, which we pretty much alluded to already, which is the complete easing, not complete easing, but a pretty broad easing of restrictions, which has now allowed us to go to restaurants, bars. We can visit another house as long as there's only 2 people, and
Yeah, that,
sports.
that whole thing kind of confuses me. So I'm just staying away from the houses at the moment until I figure out exactly what's going on.
It's my understanding is that 2 people, 2 adults can visit another household,
Yeah.
but each household can only accept 1 set of visitors per
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And if you visit someone else's house, someone can't visit you. So you're kind of just
Okay.
limiting. It's kind of like a moving bubble, but every day can be a different household you can
Right.
visit
And
or
if
be
the
visited
if
from.
the police show up, you can just start making out with the other person, and that's your excuse. They're your partner. Is that kind of
Yeah, that's
what
something
people are
that I
doing?
was already kind of doing for the last 5 months anyway,
Okay.
to be honest. So
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, how are they to know what exactly your status is with whom, and exactly what your beliefs are, and exactly how open-minded people can be?
Yeah.
Like,
And
who are they
if
to
they
judge?
did know, who are they to judge?
That is correct, as long as they don't join.
Exactly.
So
Well, that would be breaching the sort of professional laws of Well, just their profession and the laws of being a police officer. But anyways,
I
we'll move on. We'll
I
move on.
believe
You were
that.
talking about
No,
the segments of the
no,
show
no.
just a moment
So
ago.
so last weekend, we actually had booked, me and my partner, a few places along Fitzroy and the city. So remember the famous 4 o'clock meal, which actually worked out
Yes, yes,
perfectly
the
fine.
early church session kind of, yeah, for the old people. Got it.
Yeah, when I rocked up, it was pretty much me, my partner. We are like, around the 30 years of age, and everyone else was 70. No, it wasn't. Everyone was still pretty young. It was in Fitzroy, Rice Paper Scissors, if you
Good
do know that
spot.
place.
Good spot. Yep.
The Fitzroy one, I personally believe, is miles better than the city one. I don't know why, but it just every time I've gone, it's just always been
Which one
better.
in the city? Are we talking about the one closer to Spring Street or the one
Yeah,
closer
yeah,
to
the
Queen
one that's
Street?
next to what is it? Oh, what's the name of that place? Not Duckboard Place. That's
You know
Tonka.
what? I can't remember it either, but it extends
The
out
one
from
next to
sort of
Hoochie Mama.
Myers.
The one next
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Hoochie
yeah.
Mama. Myers
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Myers
the one.
place? Myers place.
Now, Myers Place is the one that has Loot Bar up the top, and it has,
Oh, yeah,
you know,
yeah,
that
yeah. Oh,
little.
I know,
That's
Liverpool.
we're gonna have to edit out this whole section of
Yeah.
the show. Yeah, we've got it. All right, listeners, stick with us. The show gets
Yeah,
better
no.
from here. But yeah, go on, go on, go
No,
on.
no. No, no. So that was good, and then we'd booked a cocktail bar from 6, which was pretty cool. But the thing is, you go inside, and to your point, things are pretty empty, right? Rice Paper Scissors is pretty packed because it's a very congested place, but they managed to do with the restrictions, so that was good. The cocktail bar was huge. It was called, Poly Bar, like some really old school cocktail bar
I've
on,
been there before. I've been there
it's like
before. Yeah, so it's got a
really
big
old, like,
round
furniture and stuff.
rectangle, the bar in the middle type thing, and a little courtyard at the
Correct, and
front.
there's an atrium and all this kind of stuff, and
That's the one.
it's
Yeah,
huge, right? But because they're only allowed 20 people inside, it was basically empty.
yeah.
So, like, even though we're there was really no vibe, to your point.
That's
Uh,
when you can't get the vibe going. You're spot on.
there was no vibe. There was no
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
And then then had a place, on Spring Street, the, City Wine Shop, the one next to that,
Good spot.
grocer and
Yep, yep. Do you sit at
great
the front
I
or
never been there.
inside?
I wanted to sit out front, ended up sitting inside next to the window, so it's almost like we're outside.
Yeah,
I know
best of
you
both
recommend to
worlds.
sit outside, but it wasn't really the worst, kinda best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But on the way there, we were just walking past this random bar, it looked asked for a spot. As a rum bar, and then, yeah, basically, I just realized it sounds like, the
Don't
South
say that again.
African
Yeah,
South
go
American name.
on. Yeah,
So, and we just asked, do you got a spot?" And they had a spot, and we just
yeah.
tried, like, 2 flights of rum from different, continents.
It's pretty
So
cool.
that was actually exciting. I don't know anything about rum, but now I'm actually feel like rum's pretty tasty.
Pirates drank it.
Correct. So it was just really good kind of sitting there, like, to your point before, like, kinda chilling, listening, a bit of people around, talking to the staff. They're all pretty happy to be working. Like, isn't it the worst thing when you go to, like, a restaurant or a bar and the staff just don't seem that they
Yeah,
wanna be there?
yeah, and the boss
It's
is just,
killing the
like,
vibe.
mouthing off at them and threatening to dock their pay and yeah, yep, go on. So, yeah, that's good. It's better when they're happy. It's better when they're happy.
Yeah, no, correct. So that's pretty much was the highlight. And it's good to kind of now plan this going forward. And as we say, we might actually get to meet in person. I mean, you probably forgot what I look like in person. Forgot how tall I am,
Unfortunately not, but yeah, go on.
right? And obviously now with 5 zeros in a row, as in
Yeah.
5 days of no
5
cases.
donuts, I'm getting quite large because when someone in the media says it's donut day, everyone go out and get a donut. I followed everyone like sheep down to the donut store and put a little jam iced chocolate donut in my mouth and into my belly. And I've revisited the donut store a couple of times, but yes.
What is this donut store you speak of?
Well, the one I went to was one in the city called Walker's Donuts, which I've walked past a million times and thought that's on the corner of Elizabeth Street and Flinders Street.
Yeah.
Must be dodgy because that's one of the dodgiest corners in Melbourne. Actually, pretty good donuts. And then I went and got another one a couple of days later from Daniel's Donuts, and then I think there was one in there from like Krispy
I've
Kreme
heard
or
of
something.
Daniel's Donuts, but I'm not a donuts person. So, sweet.
I'm not usually, but I mean, I got around it for the whole donut day thing. And now I went in to eat another donut for another, I don't know, maybe 3 years. But you know what I've eaten a lot of? That sugar-free ice cream that I was telling you about. A little too much. Okay. I'm eating it like it's healthy for you. It's just not as bad. It's not healthy, but I'm eating it like it's healthy. Anyways, I went down and bought a few extra tubs because it was on sale, and we all know
Few
the
extra
sale
tubs.
and on Well, they're
not
small.
like
That
little.
take it easy. They're small tubs, mate. I reckon one tub's a serving, but they reckon it's 5 servings.
When you said tub, I was thinking one of those like 4-liter tubs. Remember those Neapolitan ice creams back in the day, or those like
Oh, of
Bulla
course.
tubs?
Are we talking Neapolitan with the 3 colors?
Colors,
Strawberry,
the
vanilla,
strawberry,
and
vanilla,
chocolate?
chocolate. That's the
Yeah,
one.
and there was always, like, vanilla left so, like, chocolate was the first to go, and there'd be, like, a perfect line down the middle of where all the chocolate was, and, your parents would tell you not to go in the freezer, but then you just slowly chip away at it, and you think it's not noticeable because it's not noticeable to you each time, but then your parents go back a day later and half the tub's gone, and, yeah, you're not allowed to eat ice cream for a little while, so anyways, that's my story, but, you can keep on going. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, no, that's all right. It's yeah, that's pretty much just what was my favorite moment this week, and I've continued some tennis, which has been good, and we have competition starting soon, which is next week, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's been pretty good. But what about yourself?
All right. Favorite moment of the
Enjoying
week.
yourself?
So, yeah, look, I'm enjoying myself. Saturday was the first day that we had the restrictions released on about Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever it was. Restaurants started opening on Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday. And on Saturday was the day I was going to catch up with a mate at a pub. And it was in a local street near my house called Park Street, and it's called Park Hotel in Abbotsford. And I went there on Saturday, but before I went there, I went down to JB Hi Fi because I wanted to get a pair of headphones. Now, I went down to JB Hi Fi. There was a bit of a queue at the front.
A
Okay.
queue. Wow.
Queue at the front, and I need to be quick in and out job. Otherwise, I was going to be late for lunch. And they're doing 90-minute sittings at this pub. Have you noticed the 90-minute sittings?
Yeah, I mean, who came up with this 90 minutes, by the way? Like, who? Why is it
They're
90
all
minutes? Why is
using
it not 2 hours? Why is it not like each place is different? Each place has different time it takes to make the food. I don't know about you. How do you find the 90 minutes? I find like I barely get to finish the food in 90 minutes.
Well, my mate was a bit late, and then we sat around and had a chat. And next thing you know, you're getting kicked out onto the street. Fortunately, there was a table outside, but Saturday was pretty cold. This was the day when you probably
It,
prefer to sit inside rather than
it was
outside,
cold.
right?
I was out as well that day. It was cold. I was wearing a jacket and everything.
Thankfully, my car was nearby, so I went out in the car and I knew that I had 4 jackets in there because every time I was going out to go for a walk, I noticed it was too warm. And this happened over a period of about 4 days. So I would take off one jacket and then just leave on my other jacket. And over a period of time, I ended up having about 4 or 5 jackets in the car, right? Sounds pretty messy. Worked out really conveniently when on the Saturday we got kicked out and we're sitting out on the street. And I said to my mate, "Hey, it's really cold out here. Would you like 2 jackets? I'm going to go get 2 for myself." I gave him 2. I had 2. We were very toasty, my friend, just finishing our beers outside. That's not actually my highlight of the week, though. So I went down to JB Hi Fi and I wanted to pick up these new headphones because I've been wanting them for a little while. They're a version from Sony. They're sort of one of the top of the line ones from Sony, pretty cool. And the line was coming out the door, and I thought, oh, this isn't going to work. I'm on a tight time frame here. I just said, look, I can't do it today. This is really annoying. I've driven into the city here. It's just not working out for me. So I went back to the pub and I went in there and I was thinking, cool, catch up with my mate. Fast forward to Tuesday, we've got Melbourne Cup Day. I went down to get the headphones, but also to return that laptop that we talked about a few weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll
Too
come
much
back to that.
going
We'll
on.
come back to that a bit later. But went
Yeah.
down to get the headphones, and I noticed they had gone on sale sometime in the last 2 days. So they went from
Oh,
4.49 down to 3.99, and
wow.
mate, just saving of $50 just like that. So one misfortune on one day turned out to be very fortunate on another day. That was my highlight of the week.
Things happen for a reason. At the time, you're like, wow, I couldn't get it. Something was like, you're not getting it today. Then you could go get that $50 benefit, which
Absolutely.
equates to how many cones?
Well, yeah, I need a calculator. Anyways, how about we look at the next segment of the show, which is where something. Well, what caught your attention this week?
Yeah, a couple of like pretty random things that I saw online. How would you feel? Like, when we go to university in Australia, especially, we get HEX, or we don't have to pay for our courses generally, especially if it's undergraduate. It's kind of set up, paid by the government, and we repay them through our
Yeah.
salary and the
Yep.
like. So apparently in Bali, there's a particular university where they've actually offering their students to pay their tuition fees with coconuts.
That's very interesting. I didn't realize that
Uh,
coconuts were that sort of had that level of
I had
currency.
no idea. I mean, I've been to Bali a few times. I don't know if you visited.
Either
Um,
coconuts are very valued over there or education is very undervalued. Or maybe it's right in the middle. I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, like, 'cause technically that's both sides of the equation. But basically, it was this particular university because it was a solution for students who are unable to pay their tuition fees due to the pandemic. They might have lost their job. Tourism obviously, got shot. Like, I mean, I know one guy in Bali who, helped us around last year, and I was asking him like, what's it been like? And he said, look, up until very recently, when there was domestic visitors from Jakarta, pretty much been empty. And as you can imagine, Bali is a very tourist heavy. Like they keep saying Melbourne and Australia is, but Bali is like 100%
Yeah. Yeah,
tourist.
we've got a few industries over here. It's not just
Yeah, we do.
tourism.
No,
But I
correct.
mean,
So,
look, I don't want to sound ignorant, but I mean, is Bali known for its coal mining? I or other industries like that? I mean, look, tourism's their big thing. I'm sure they do have other ones. I don't want to discount some of their other industries, but yeah, tourism's huge over there compared to the percentage it is over here for us.
yeah, correct. So basically, the college came up with this solution, which was to empower students and their entrepreneurship skills, whilst they're also paying tuition at the same time. So these coconuts that they brought in, if there was a certain amount, it didn't really specify what the amount was,
Hmm.
could be used to harvest virgin coconut oil at the school, and then basically set up like their own business that allows them to sell this. So it kind of teaches them the practicalities, but at the same time, so I'm not really understanding what this university got out of this. If the coconuts that were paying the tuition
Me neither.
were being used for the business. But hey, I thought
Yeah,
it was just
I'm
interesting that they
thinking it
came up with
through
it.
as you're saying it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I just don't understand how it works and how much they've actually thought it through. But I thought, hey, at least it allows students to learn, which I think education is paramount. So any way that if someone can learn, I'm all for it. Whatever, however that works, as long as they're not making up for the tuition via other means. So.
I
Um,
completely understand. Yes.
so no, so that was really good. And then the other thing I thought was pretty funny was, or interesting. Did you know that in Norway there is a knighted penguin?
Is that right?
So
That's
there's a
very
Scottish
interesting. It's
penguin.
not
There's
it's
a
not
Scottish
Pengu's
penguin.
cousin, is it?
No, no, man. This would be like probably, I don't know, Pengu's. Is it
God,
Pengu or Pingu? It's Pingu.
I don't know, but that cute little
You mean
furry little thing in the igloo
you
that
mean that
hangs out with the
clay
Eskimos.
animation thing that looks like
Yeah,
Wallace and Gromit
might be
style?
Pengu. We know who
And
he
he
is.
kept doing the thing
Cute.
with the mouth and he kept making that random noise.
Yeah,
Boop boop
pretty
or
much.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
he sort of preceded Pokemon. Maybe Pokemon stole the idea from Pengu. Anyway,
Maybe he
yeah,
was the first Pokemon. Pokemon Zero. And so anyway, so this penguin is known as, it's a colonel in chief, which I understand is a pretty high rank in the military. And its name is Sir Niels Olav. Currently resides in the Edinburgh Zoo in Norway. And has a statue actually dedicated to him. So it's quite fascinating because imagine like working your whole life, 50 years you're in the army, and you're basically outranked by a penguin.
I can imagine. That's crazy. I don't know what sort of. I mean, it completely discounts it. I'm just concerned by the title Colonel because now I'm worried that the Colonel from KFC is going to hear about
Oh, I
this
knew you were gonna.
penguin,
I knew
get
you
some
were
ideas, and next thing you know, we got KFP selling all over the world, man. We don't want that.
gonna.
I'm not going to say what KFP stands for. It should be very obvious to you.
I'm for sure Sir Niels Olav will ensure.
Yeah.
And the other thing to note is that whenever there's a penguin parade, the great penguin
Roll
himself,
out the
Sir Niels
red
Olav,
carpet.
actually leads, always leads.
Shut
It's
up.
amazing.
It's just stupid. That is amazing. It's actually not stupid. I'm impressed. I need to see this now.
I feel
Okay.
like we should go to Norway, join the army,
Born
man. We
leader.
can both be
Born
colonel chiefs.
leader. Right. Okay, that's very cool. I'm very
I mean,
impressed with
maybe
that.
he should contest the presidency. I mean, he's probably got a good chance.
I reckon he'd probably have a better chance at leading the country.
I believe so as well. And so at least we'll be calm and collected and think of the people.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, we don't usually go down the political path. But look, is that fine? I don't want to cut in with mine, but
No,
is
no,
that
no,
is
that's
that what you
fine.
noticed?
That's fine. That's what I noticed this week. I found very interesting. So please share what you
Perfect.
found interesting.
All right. So I was there's a organizational psychologist that I follow on Twitter. He's pretty cool. He's actually pretty famous. His name's Adam Grant. He's written a few books, bestsellers. One's called Give and Take. I'm having a mental blank on some of them, but the bestsellers, look him up. Adam Grant, pretty cool. But he always tweets some pretty good stuff and stuff that'll make you think. Just his thoughts. This was a little less serious than some of the other stuff he tweets, or less thoughtful, but it was something that I made me think because the tweet was he posted a meme and it said, "This is my defense of the Oxford comma. Long live the Oxford comma." And I was like, wait a second. Okay, I probably should have told you the other part of the story first. Pause that, keep that in your mind. For the past 2 weeks, I've got my new computer. Grammarly's part of like, I think my emails and stuff, it's like built into Google, whatever. And when I go to type emails, I'll type in the sentence and I'll put in and, you've got blah, 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 comma, the next word, and then you complete it with the final word.
Oh,
Grammarly,
you put a comma before the end.
no. Okay. But Grammarly suggests that you do. And every time I see this correction, I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Who's putting commas before the and? That is wrong. Anyways, then I see the tweet and I hear him talk about his defense of the Oxford comma. And I'm thinking, is this a thing? So, anyways, I'll just read out. This is of Google Business Insider, and Oxford or serial comma is the last comma in a list. It goes before the word and. Technically, it's grammatically optional in American English. Now, there's massive debate about whether or not this is correct, but it is a thing. It is known as the Oxford comma. And if you're using Grammarly, which is a pretty popular service that gets built in to correct all your grammar before you send emails, it's like an add-on. You might come across it now. Anyone that's listening, now that I've mentioned it, they suggest putting the comma in. But I saw this popping up, and I'm thinking, what are you talking about? That's is the program broken here? And then fast forward 2 weeks after the first time I saw it, and it kept on popping up over those 2 weeks. I noticed a little tweet from my friend Adam Grant, and it's a thing. People are using it. People endorse it. They think it flows a bit more because the last word shouldn't be joined on with the rest of them. I don't know. It's just weird. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, that's interesting because grammar, punctuation, spelling are all things that I'm quite fond of. And when I say that, I just mean more that if something is incorrect in front of me on a screen or a book or a PowerPoint presentation, it will stick out like a sore thumb. But I can't help it. I just point it out. I don't know if you're like that, but people do get a little bit annoyed when I'm like, "Oh, that's really good. Oh, there's a spelling mistake. Oh, wait, that's not right. That's the wrong word." I can't help it. To me, it's almost like a burning fire around the word that
I'll
just
mention it,
sticks
but I'm
out.
not going to let it ruin a friendship.
Oh, no, no. I mean, I give them a couple, but no, it's the it's
I've had
something.
someone pull me up on it. I'm like, okay, let go,
It's kind of
step back. It's okay.
no, no,
It's
no.
okay.
To be honest, something that does irritate me a little bit is, and a lot of people say this, is the whole "your" and "your," especially in like corporate emails. It's like "hope you're well,"
Yeah, I
but
agree.
"y" or
I'm
"you
shattered
are"
when
instead of
I'm
"you are."
shattered when I make that mistake. I look at myself and think, "You've embarrassed yourself." How about you read your emails before you do that? That's how I feel about that. I've made that mistake. It can still slip, but I do think it's a sin to make that error.
I think so too. I once made it before, and luckily I was really tired, but I checked it before I sent it,
Yeah.
and I thought for a split second, if I'd sent that, I feel like I failed every single
Yeah.
teacher I've ever had in
Look,
primary school.
to
My
me, it says
parents,
you might be
my
smart, but
grandparents.
maybe you didn't go to school. That's what it says to me.
No, no, no. What do they call it? Street smart, not book smart or whatever
Yeah.
they call it.
Yeah.
No, but about that one particularly, I remember learning, yeah, never to put comma before and, but also it's similar to the premise of maybe you could shed light on this, based on this, is never start a new sentence with and. Because when I was brought up in
Oh,
primary school, they said never
that's
do
like
that.
rule
But
one.
then
That's the rule number one.
no, no, no. But apparently you can, according to actual
What?
proper grammar.
Okay, sure. This is throw that in with the Oxford comma, my friends. But
No,
yeah,
no, no, no. I remember seeing that. I'm like,
mind
I've
blown.
been brought up saying that you can't. But I don't know. I read somewhere where people do it, and I thought, well, that's just strange, but I can't. But in terms of the comma, I can see what they mean when they say break up the sentence. Like, I don't know. What's a sentence? Like, I don't know. Teddy went to the restaurant and
So he's gonna.
Tony Tony did not. So
Yeah,
therefore, if you had Teddy went to the restaurant, comma, and like that, it kind of makes sense because you're breaking it up. But then it's like you could almost use a semicolon, right? And not have and at all.
I'm so gonna ruin this, but I'll try and explain the tweet where he used it as his defense. The picture he's got is eggs, toast, and orange juice. And when it's eggs, toast, comma, and orange juice, it separates them all into three different things. But then it says without the Oxford comma, it says I had eggs, toast, and orange juice, no comma. And there's just a picture of toast, egg smashed on top, and then orange juice poured all over it. That's what he thinks goes wrong in the
Wait,
sentence.
wait, wait.
That's
So
what I-
where's the comma? There's no comma at all in the second one. So with
exactly.
tests, so toasts,
Toast.
toast,
I
eggs.
had eggs, toast, and orange juice. That's got the comma before the and it's got a nice little picture of eggs,
Oh, and the comma is
toast.
before.
You can see
Yeah,
it
gotcha,
there. You
gotcha,
can see
gotcha.
it there.
Yeah,
This doesn't
I
work for
got you.
anyone listening, but you can see what's going on there. Are you with me? Can you explain that to the listeners?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, okay, so this comes down to the definition of the comma itself. If the comma itself is to separate a sentence,
Yeah.
and you use it for I had eggs, comma, toast, comma, and orange juice, then you're insinuating you had three separate items. But then if you said I had eggs, comma, toast, and orange juice with no comma, then I can see why it looks like you've combined toast and orange juice. So
Yeah.
that actually makes sense to me now. Now that actually
Yeah.
makes sense
So that's his means to
because
use to defend it.
if you're going to use it between toast and eggs, you need to use it again for orange juice. And it's just merely a way to kind of complete the sentence because you wouldn't just go, I had eggs, comma, toast, comma, and bread. So sorry, and orange juice, full stop.
Yeah. Did you know
Oh,
what?
actually, wait, I
Look,
just realized I said and. Wait, I stuffed that up.
do you know what?
I'll try that again.
I'm concerned no one's listening to the show anymore. we got to
No,
move it.
I really want to say this. I really want to say
Go
this.
for it. Okay, go for it. Go for it.
I want to say the sentence right. So what he's saying is you never say, especially not out loud. No, I have to say this because it's gonna kill me otherwise.
Yeah.
Literally, I'll burn inside all night, not sleep.
Yeah.
So imagine saying I had eggs, toast, orange juice. So if you say that just straight, it doesn't make any sense. It's not a proper sentence. So therefore, and is simply to end the sentence. Comma is just to break it up. That actually makes sense. And I learned something.
There you go. There you go. I learned it too. Look, look. I'm not going to get down with the comma, but we've got to move on to the next segment of the show before people start tuning out, and we're not going to get to the end of the show, and they're going to be wondering, was that a good show? We need to show them it is. So the next segment of the show
It's
is
a
where we
good show, comma, and superb. No,
it's a good show, full stop, and is part of the
period.
new sentence. And we're going to move on now to the next segment. What's annoyed you during the week?
You know, honestly, this week's been pretty good, but something that did happen, which has happened a couple of times. I don't know if you've experienced this, but one of my emails got hacked, which was pretty annoying. And it kind of started off with I can't remember what website I was logging into. Here's a question for you: do you generally use the same password for most things?
A lot of stuff.
Most
I've been
things,
mixing
and
it
same
up.
email as well.
I've got a password sort of like not a generator, but a password storage thing on my phone now. Password
Yeah,
save.
manager. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I mix it
yeah.
up, but
So
yeah, they're related. There's like a little family of cousins in there.
yeah. Yeah, so I was on Google, right? It
Yeah.
basically I logged in with a particular password, and then it came up with this warning sign saying, "Please note that this password and email combination has been known to be found on some website where I think people like dump passwords and emails like hacked, like and it goes in the deep web and stuff." And they said,
All
"Please
right.
consider changing anywhere where you use this password." And I was just like, well, that's pretty random. I'm wondering because I'm thinking because in the last probably couple of weeks, I've definitely got a lot more spam, but I don't know where from.
Hmm.
So I'm getting stuff like
What sort of
your
websites you been
PayPal,
going to?
all very legitimate websites.
Yeah,
Thank you very
cool.
much.
Yeah, go
Because I'm a very legitimate, law-abiding citizen, and the me laughing does not do justice to that sentence.
on. No, it's
Um,
not.
I'm law-abiding. So
Yeah,
the
we can edit that
uh,
part out. Don't worry about it. Continue, please.
The so and I just thought, okay, well that's a bit strange. And then I realized like on my phone because I've synced this particular email, it stopped working, and I was kind of my heart started beating a little bit fast, thinking, wait. So they might have hacked this particular password, which luckily is not too common for most sites. Now my phone isn't working, but that password's different, right? That's like a normal password. And it wasn't syncing. It was asking me to re-sign in, re-log in. It wouldn't work. And I thought, oh, here we go. My email's been hacked. And there's a lot of stuff on this email, like, for example, there's like financial things, there's, information that was provided for when I was, going for my rental property. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of
wow.
stuff on it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if someone got a hold of this, they would have like everything. And I thought that's worrying because if someone has your information, who knows, man? Maybe they're going to go get a credit card in my name. I don't know. But
So easy.
so
So
that,
identity theft is so easy. You'd be surprised how easy it is for them to get one little bit here, one little bit there, and next thing you know, that's enough for them to call up a company and verify themselves as you. you'd be surprised. Like one little bank statement out of out of the mail, and then they call up and then they get asked, when was your last transaction? They're like, oh yeah, that's easy. I can identify this one here. Went down to Myer and bought some headphones. And yeah, mate, it's pretty scary stuff. It's happening all over the world. We've had our mail. Someone sort of stole the mail. It's a thing. People go around in vans. Any mail that's there, they'll steal it out of letterboxes, and it's identity theft, mate. It's out of control. It's
That's why you should go.
absolutely happening. It's pretty frightening, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you should go paper statement. Sorry, online statement instead
paperless,
of
better for the environment too.
paperless. Yeah, correct. So that was really worrying, and I thought, oh, because something similar happened to me, like when I was in uni. I had two separate emails, right, and both got hacked, and then one was sending emails to my other email, whoever this hacker was, and I still to this day don't know what it was, who it was. Microsoft couldn't help me. I said, look, they've clearly hacked my emails, so they were just useless. But it's just kind of like a timely reminder to make sure whenever you're signing up. I think I use I think I mentioned a tip a little while ago about using like kind of like a 10-minute mail thing, which is good for subscribing to different websites. I feel like I might have, but if I've not, then I'll talk about that at another point. But
Yeah,
basically, if
bookmark.
you're going to sign up for
You'll run out of
something,
material at one stage.
yeah, no, no. If I never ran out of material. The so if you make sure that you use different passwords at different sites. If sites are a little bit like dubious, just use an email, like make a new email address specifically for like just any other random website, and let that be like the junk spam email. Because I realize a lot of people use like their full name on Gmail and sign up for everything, and then I think the risk is just huge. So and it just it's kind of worrying. And it was pretty annoying because then I thought I had to go remember every other website where I use this particular password. And also I got no idea. Like I go make a password 10 minutes ago and I'll forget what it was now.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know if
as
you've been
like a
through that.
spam, the email that you're happy to be subjected to spam, instead of using like Tony Cuddly Bear, which is your real name, you would use
Correct.
something
Correct.
like Red Herring Dragon Lover 101 at yahoo.com, something like that.
Yeah, literally anything
Cool.
and just make sure
That's
that you don't
probably
resonate
taken, by
anything
the
to
way.
it.
Everything's taken. Every email address out there's taken. Anything good is gone. I just made that up, but that'll be gone.
You got to put numbers now. Like you want
Well, I
Teddy,
have
you're going to be like
101 there.
Teddy nine
Yeah.
two three six five
Yeah.
four five or something.
I'll have like Teddy Shetland 90210 bad boy lover or something. I don't know
Sounds
why
like
all
a
these
new
email
Netflix
addresses have
TV
lover
show
in
coming up, man.
there. What's that?
That sounds like a new Netflix TV show. Now starring
Oh,
Teddy
yeah.
Shetland,
If
90210.
anyone could make it, it
Bad
would
boy love.
be the Americans on Netflix. Anyways, go on.
Anyway, so that was my gripe for this week. But how about you? I can have a feeling I know what it's going to be, but go on.
All right, it's a bit of a combo. So
Combo wombo.
went down. One of the other reasons I was going down on Saturday was to also return that laptop that I bought
This
many,
JB
many, many
Hi-Fi you're
weeks
talking
ago.
about, right?
Yeah, JB Hi-Fi. And went down. Obviously, couldn't go in because there was a line coming out the door. So I didn't return the laptop or get the headphones. Went down on Tuesday. Now, the primary reason to go down there was to return the laptop. And then I noticed the headphones were on sale, and I was like, ka-ching. Just that part was good about the day, but I'm standing around, waiting around. No one was really caring about helping me. I just wasn't really getting the service that you get from JB Hi-Fi, but you know what? You got a
Well,
bunch
I
of kids
mean,
in there that have
I was
just
going
come
to
out of
say they're
COVID, probably not getting paid.
pretty notorious for not providing the greatest service.
That's true. They can be. Look, I've had it mixed, but the one at
I
the front counter wasn't really interested.
No, and I was going to say I've had some of the best help in the world from JB, especially when they want to do deals. And then I've had the flip side where I'm like, well, if I'm wearing a beanie, got tattoos, maybe they'll say hello, but I don't. So no
Gotcha.
chance.
Gotcha. So I'm standing around. Anyways, this guy comes out, then another person comes out, then this guy comes out, asks a bunch of questions. He asked me to send him an email that I got from the manager probably about 3 months ago. It was a different manager at a different store, just saying, hey, I want to buy a different color of this laptop and I want to return this one down the track. So I just show him the email, send it to him. This whole process goes on for about half an hour. And then he says, oh, you bought it off the corporate site at work. And then I said, yeah, that's cool. So he said, okay, I've got to go make another call. Comes back. We get to the end of 30 minutes of me standing around the store. He comes back and says, hey, they're closed because it's a public holiday. And I just thought, okay, that's not really working out for me right now. So look, I ended up returning it, but it was, the best moment of my week confronted with a pretty shattering time of the week. So that was the annoying part.
Yeah, no, fair. And I was just going to say, just for context for people who hadn't listened to the prior episode where you talked about the particular incident, do you want to share it? Where what actually happened? Why were you returning this laptop?
Okay. Oh mate, there's so many. There's this whole laptop saga it's gone on for a while. But what happened was I was umming and ahhing about buying a new laptop. Okay, I was looking at the Surface Pro. Pardon me, I had the Surface Pro, and I was looking at the laptop Surface 3. Wanted to keep in the Microsoft, like the color, like the keyboards. I just like the look, like the functionality. It's good for me. And I was waiting for it to go on sale. It didn't go on sale, and I just bit the bullet, went and paid full price. But then I was actually able to get it through the work site, so corporate site, through the company that I was working at the time. And I got a bit of a discount. It rocked up, got there in the post. Took a little while to get there. I was getting a bit frustrated at this point, and I started using it. And then a day later, all the laptops, Microsoft on sale, 20% off. And this is 20% off 2 grand. Okay, so you do the numbers. So then I'm thinking, I'm not really
$400.
liking, and then on top of that, I wasn't really liking the black color. So I called the store manager and he said, that's fine. Look, you've got to hold on to the laptop until all the restrictions are over, which is just this week. And I ended up going down eventually, but for a point in time there, I had 2 laptops because I just went and bought the other laptop with the hope that I could return this one down the track. So that's the whole story. I've been holding onto this laptop for quite some time, and it all culminated sort of this week when I was able to return it. But I didn't tell you the rest of the story. Did you want to hear part 2 of the laptop return story? You think that's the end of it, but you haven't actually heard how I returned it.
No, you just said you were waiting around. They called someone. It was closed. And then I was going to ask though, like this particular corporate, like, are they based? Because the public holiday was Melbourne only.
Yeah, that's true. For whatever reason, it's just maybe based in Melbourne or whatever. And so, look, a day later, when they were open, I ended up getting someone on the phone at corporate and just explained my
So
situation.
you still had it with you the next day?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I just look,
Oh,
I to take it home,
I thought you
and
resolved it the same day you went there.
no,
Oh, okay.
no, I actually had to
Okay.
go take it home with me, right? So I got the headphones, but then I had to take it home with me, and I called up corporate, and the guy basically says to me, "Oh no, you can't return that. It's been bought through our corporate site." And I'm thinking, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "I've got an email from the guy in the store." You'd think anyone who's in a account management role that's working for a company that's supporting, working for JB Hi-Fi, the corporate section that's supporting another big company, that's sells their product through, they'd be delivering some service, that sort of thing, but starts getting in an argument with me about saying, no, you didn't follow the right process. And I'm saying, well, I've emailed the store manager, I've got it in writing. He basically said that was worthless. And he said, you shouldn't have listened to him. And I said, so you're telling me this means nothing? You've surely got to honor that. He says, no, we don't have to honor it. And I said, well, I'm pretty sure you do. Anyways, bit of back and forth. He ends up hanging up on me. I'm just thinking, is this actually happening? So I sent him some text. I said, mate,
I'm
it's
being
all good.
pranked right now.
I'm going through your head office. It's fine. So then I ended up calling through to the head office, explaining the situation. They're like, yep, it's cool. Went back down to the store the next day. The guy's there. He's heard about it all. And he's like, mate, so sorry about this. And I just said, mate,
That
that's fine.
guy.
You're cool. He's like that. He's like, yeah, that's fine. I mean, you've been cool. Here's my laptop. He ends up. It's a different process. So the laptop had to be checked in store. Then the refund had to get processed through head office. But this one guy that I called through that was meant to handle it over the phone for me basically told me, "No, you're going to get docked 20%. You've opened it up, all this sort of thing. The email from the head office, the email from the store is basically worthless." And it was to a point where it was probably some of the worst service I've ever gotten from someone in a customer service role. So I typed out a little email, banged it off to his manager, and look, we don't know what's happened to him, but that was part 2. Got my full refund. Unfortunately, many hurdles along the way, but look, that's how that all ended. And you're probably thinking out there, if you're listening, Teddy, you're a mean-spirited person, but I think I think I was being very fair throughout the situation. I was maintaining my cool, but I ran into a little bad apple along the way. Anyways, that's the story, Tony. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like to your point, if you're dealing as a key account manager,
Mm.
for JB Hi-Fi and dealing with say the corporations and like, that's kind of like high, that's pretty like executive stake. Like what if you were the CEO, for
He,
example?
he
You
he
had no.
essentially said I should know the difference between retail JB Hi-Fi and corporate JB Hi-Fi, and I shouldn't have listened to someone in the store, and they didn't have to honor it. I was a little offended by that, and I just thought,
So he offended
okay.
you and he offended retail at exactly the same time.
Yeah,
That's amazing. No, he was offending both
exactly.
people. He said
In my
retail.
email, I said, "Look, the JB Hi-Fi brand, I still trust. I will continue to listen to key representatives, e.g., store managers, if they give me instruction in the future." This is what I've
Unlike
sent
us,
in the
some
email
people
to.
sitting at home angry.
Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy. I mean, it all got resolved on the same day, essentially.
He must have
But
been having a bad
blood was
day,
boiling.
or maybe
He
maybe he found
must
out
have
he's been
been.
fired. Maybe he couldn't match anyone on Tinder. Like, I don't know what's going on in his day, right? Like,
It was
anything's
weird.
possible.
Anyways, we usually don't get that negative town on the show, but we're going to move on. But that's what's
No,
annoyed me during the week.
it's I was gonna say it's more amusing than anything.
It's pretty funny, isn't it?
You got I could just imagine him just typing away angrily, like, on his keyboard, like, "This is ridiculous, not
Oh,
fair, whatever,
well,
whatever."
no, this was all happening over the phone, my friend. All the bad stuff. My email went in at the end. Then when he
Ah.
hung up on me, that's when I've texted him back. I'm like, mate, you call me back now. And so then
Please call me back.
and then he texted me a little while later, he's like, my phone shut down. Like, your phone did not shut down. I said, that's
Dude,
fine. I'm going through
It said delivered on the
I'm
message.
going through your head office, mate. I don't care. And just, oh man, I just thought, is this your second week in customer service? I mean, there's checkout people that display a high level of service than you are doing right now, and your title is account manager. Shame on you. Anyways, look, I'm not that demanding. I'm actually,
I was gonna say,
I'm
you were
relative.
pretty chill. You held on to that laptop for a long time.
I know. I know. And look, good thing I got all this stuff in writing. Turns out, even though I had it in writing, this guy thought he wasn't going to honor it. But then I went to someone else in his company and they were like, oh, yeah, no, we've got to honor that. And I'm like,
It's just
I know
retail.
you
I
do.
don't listen to retail.
Let's
Like,
sort this out.
can you imagine telling a client that they should know better than dealing with
Oh,
2 internal staff members?
it was just disgusting. It really was. I mean, because I'm in a sort of client facing role myself. And
Yeah,
it was just atrocious. It was along everything he was doing was what not to do when dealing with clients or
that's
customers.
exactly my point. That's the good experiences you can
Everything
now
was what do you not
preach.
do, and he was doing it.
There you go,
So,
and that's the learning. That's the upside of this,
yeah,
is that you know what not to do. It's a funny story,
yeah,
and unfortunately for that guy, I hope he's well, but,
yeah.
you know, whatever.
Look,
Uh,
experience with the JB Hi-Fi guys though. Retail, love them. I love going in there. I love
I
when the
really love
catalog
JB.
comes out.
I love
JB Hi-Fi is amazing. Anyways, I hopefully we don't get any bad press from some of the things we said about JB Hi-Fi,
I don't know. I
the
love
corporate
JB.
side, because everyone knows they're different businesses. Anyways, so,
We should know better,
yeah,
children.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Have to teach that in school.
yeah, yeah.
Now, children, JB, retail.
Didn't you get a printout of our organizational chart? See where the lines go down here and they flag off to little retail land? I'm not over there. I'm over here. You should know better. You didn't get that? Oh, he also said to me when I said it was on a Saturday, I called the store manager. You know what he said to me? I said, well, look, it was on a Saturday, so you weren't around. He's like, mate, you didn't even try and call me. He's like, you obviously didn't even put in the effort. This is what he said to me. You didn't try. You didn't put in the
You.
effort. You've just gone to the store. I'm thinking, yeah, I went to the
Where else
store,
am I meant to
dude.
go? Get off
Like,
your house.
I,
Maybe you're expecting he's out. Maybe he's expecting you at his house.
yeah, I was
Personalized service.
yeah, this is I look, I'm trying to hold back on this is the other thing he said. I work 7 days a week. You didn't even try and call me on the Saturday. I'm thinking, are you serious, dude? Like,
Out of respect, you didn't call him on a Saturday. Like, you're doing the right thing.
I'm not gonna A, call you on a Saturday, and B, email you and just wait around for a response. Hey, I saw this sale go on. I wanted to swap the computer over. I'm a proactive guy. I called the store. I asked for the manager, explained the situation, got it in writing, and that's not good enough. Let's move on to the next segment.
Yeah. Our next segment is whether we
Let's make
found
sure it's a
anything
positive one.
worth anything worth sharing on social media.
Oh, that
Um,
got wild.
so I found a few interesting ones, but in light of the previous story that was not so positive, I will very succinctly explain that one.
Please tell me it's
Uh,
about like, I don't know, Teletubbies or something really happy.
uh, no, but there's a few, so I'll quickly outline a few things I saw. I'll start with the most positive one first. There was a really good video of in a New Zealand high school. See, and this is something that a lot of people do see, but I was actually quite surprised when I saw this video of the comments, because this was a video on Instagram, I believe, or Reddit. I can't not remember.
Yeah.
Basically, it was a New Zealand high school, and it was a school hall full of maybe, I don't know, 500 kids, maybe 600 kids, and they were all doing the haka. like a variant of it. Because I learned that there's lots of different kinds of hakas, but I did not know that because everyone usually associates it with the rugby.
Yeah.
You know, when they do the haka and then it's quite like
Oh, yeah.
full on intense. It's really, really good to watch. And obviously, there's a lot of meaning behind it, which I don't know too much about. So, but basically it was quite fascinating to see literally 500 kids, both like, Maori and non-Maori kids, do the full haka for 2.5 minutes, in school uniform. And you just like felt the like
Energy?
what's the word? Pardon?
Energy.
Yeah, the energy, like, the hairs like prickled on my
Yeah,
arm,
it's
and
cool.
I got a lot of hairs, so you can imagine all just kind of sticking up. And
Yep, visuals, we don't need them, my friend. Yep.
yeah, uh, and it was just fascinating, and it was really good because obviously, like I said, there's a lot of meaning behind it, and the fact that I was so passionate about it, it was. I watched it actually a few times, just back and forth. I feel like if I need to get pumped up, I just need to watch that. Like I thought it was great, and it was all for respect of their teacher. Like I'm trying to think when I was in high school and a teacher leaves, it's just you're just like, oh yeah, hello, goodbye, and there's nothing about it. Or we farewell this
Seen this.
teacher and we just
I
clap.
think I've seen this. It's pretty epic.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like the
it,
most ultimate send-off you could ever ask for as a teacher, right?
this is exactly how I
Yeah.
want to be sent. If I ever left
Yeah,
work, I
yeah,
want to be
yeah,
sent off like this. Everyone just doing the haka, right?
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, on your last day. I'd be grateful if someone showed up to, like, my farewell drinks other than, the person I sit next to. Anyways, issues,
um,
issues, we don't talk about that on the show. Go on.
no, Teddy, no. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Something that was see, it's kinda, like, bad, but at the same time, it was kinda good, but it was a video, of a baby shower, and
We've touched
basically
on baby showers before, haven't we?
hence why I wanted to bring this up because
Yeah.
usually you see different variants. You see baby showers, you see baby reveals, all kinds of shebangs, right? So in this particular one, there's this whole family gathering, everyone's chilling, and the wife's sitting there, and then the husband walks in, or the father comes in, and it's kind of like, hello everyone, starts giving a speech, cracking jokes and stuff, and then all of a sudden he rocks up with this other dude who's in a suit with his like briefcase, and he like gets handed this thing,
Okay.
opens up like this kind of dossier, and then basically like this is the DNA test for the child, like in front of everyone, and actually goes,
Yeah.
I've proven that this is not my child. I
Oh
am not the
my
father of
god.
the child. And you're
Whoa.
like while this is going on, like the bride's just sitting there, just like looking. Turns out that dude in the suit is a lawyer, who's actually his lawyer, right? Who's come to the baby shower, right? And, and he's like, and then it's like full, and it's in Spanish too, so I don't understand what he's saying, but you can get the gist of
Yeah,
what's going on because
can't script
and the
it,
wife's
yeah.
just sitting there like this, and he's just like she's like confused, and then she's like panicking, and then basically then shows like this footage of her in like a sauna with some other dude, and that other dude is like literally sitting on the other side of the table and like points to him and goes, "This is the guy.
Oh,
He's the
no.
father."
Oh, wow.
It was
Wow.
great.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it sounds like something straight out of like a soap opera type thing,
Or
but it was
Korean, or Korean or Korean drama or something because 'cause
yeah.
they've got some crazy scripts in Korean dramas.
Yeah, no, exactly. In fact, did you hear about that Korean drama which apparently predicted corona? That was like they got a coronavirus from last year. It was a TV show.
No.
All right, there
That's
was a
very
scene.
interesting.
Yeah. It is exactly the same thing. Someone sent me like a scene because they watch Korean dramas,
Oh, yeah.
and the scene was like, oh, there's this pandemic and global virus, and it's causing like breathing all this stuff, and it was quite fascinating from last year.
That's art predicting, real life events. But, yeah, okay, look, I don't wanna take away from that craziness that just happened at the baby
Oh yeah,
shower.
that was
Yeah.
it's worth sharing. I'm gonna see if I can find the video and maybe I'll put it on our Instagram. But it
Who's
was
recording this? And I mean, look, everyone would have been recording it, but,
I just
because
you
it's a baby shower.
like, that's pretty baller. I thought it was pretty baller the way to do it because, like, obviously everything just went array and then, they were getting kicked out and punched and stuff. It was great. Um, I don't condone violence, but when it was just interesting to watch
Yeah.
the natural, like, slow when the wife realized exactly what was being said and what
Yeah,
was going on.
pennies
Yeah,
dropped, and she's like,
correct. That's good.
"Oh, right. Got."
Yeah, yeah.
Then the
Yeah, that's
photo producers from the sauna
video.
is steamier
The
than the
video.
time.
The
Or
video.
the video gets
Yeah.
produced and it's steamier than, the actual sauna itself, and then, next thing everyone knows exactly what's happened.
Yeah, so
That's
I
very
thought that was
interesting, okay.
And then one other little thing I saw was, and this was quite interesting because you could almost argue that there's a lot of symbolism in this little video. It was last week in Barcelona, there was some protests and stuff, right? Because of COVID, similar to
Yeah,
what
okay.
happened here.
Yeah,
And
was
then
it
anyway,
running with the balls or something,
so,
was it?
no, 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 no. Can you imagine doing running the bulls while there's a protest? That'd be crazy. That'd be a
Well,
field day
you
for the
keep
bulls. Like, no joke,
killing 2 birds, with, one bull, so
one
anyways.
bullhorn, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and basically, like, so picture this. Like, I'll try and paint this picture as well as possible. Imagine
It's
in the
gonna be hard.
background, you've got protests. It's dark. There's like fires. There's like police sirens and police cars whirring and stuff. And then, kind of like in the foreground, you see a piano and you see a guy playing the piano with like really like classical,
This
really
is
beautiful
magic.
music.
This is magic. Yeah.
Beautiful music. He's just like playing. There's like a couple of people watching, and he's just playing while there's literally riots and police
I've
cars.
got the image in
Clearly a
my
lot,
head. It's
clearly
pictured.
a lot of violence going on, and you're like, this is
Yeah.
almost straight from a movie, but it's
Ah,
amazing.
yeah, or like a musical where the heinous scenes acting out in the background on the stage, but then you got this glorious pianist at the front. So I don't take this away from you. This is beautiful. Keep
No,
going.
no, no. I was gonna say exactly, and it's kind of like it's almost like you said in a movie, but in fact you wouldn't see the pianist. You just had the music itself, like kind of like a ironic thing. But I thought here's a guy chill, relaxed, with all this like rioting and violence behind him, playing this music, and I thought it's quite symbolic that sometimes, as we've alluded to before, where we can sometimes get caught up in things pretty easily. But at the end of the day, it's like if you want to just relax, and I mean, I'm not saying go sit in front of a riot and start playing music or
Yeah.
writing poetry or something, but it just goes to show like how we can be wired differently. But I just thought it was amazing, to be honest.
I love it. Keep calm, play a piano. Now, look, what I came across was this. Have you seen in the Netherlands? There was this train. Imagine a train
Oh,
that is going along a rail, okay? And then it goes over the barrier, doesn't slow down in time. And instead of going over the edge into the ground, okay, and to like a 10-meter drop, it actually sails along and perfectly sitting there, unplanned, is a whale's tail. Okay, almost like a hand palm that's being held out to catch something that overshoots the train track. So what's happened is this train is overshot. It's done at a speed where it's kind of almost bulleted out enough to be caught on the whale's tail. It's a big statue. You've just got to see the image to sort of realize how ridiculous it is. In Rotterdam, Netherlands, on November 2nd, this happened, and saved by a whale's tail. Tram runs off track, lands on whale statue's tail in Netherlands. That's from WIO News, WIOnews.com. But yeah, I saw it on Reddit initially. And look, everyone survived, but that could have easily been, if there was no whale's tail there, everyone would have just plummeted to their death. It would have gone down nose first, at least the first carriage, and everyone died. But I just thought it was amazing. The odds of this happening and just the perfect structure of this tail to be able to catch it is very fortunate for everyone that was on the train. But that's what caught my attention on social media this week.
yeah, I think I saw a picture, like, but I didn't really read it, and I think it might have been that. But my question is, and it's probably a more naive question, is so this whale's tail, is it set up to capture trains, or is it something else
No, but
completely
it's
involved?
almost uh,
And what is it?
it's statues that are coming out of. So it looks like there's half a whale's body coming out of the water. So you know how like a whale will come up and then maybe it'll dive down. This
Yeah,
looks like
yeah,
a
and you see the
tail.
tail part. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this looks like the tail is coming out of the ground and the other half, more like a dolphin would flip up and then dive down because a whale wouldn't be able to get that much air. But imagine a whale that's huge, got enough air, the same air that a dolphin would, and then it went down nose first. About halfway, its body is submerged on the ground. So picture that. And then half of the whale's body, which is the tail part, coming out at the top. And then it's kind of bending outward. And where it's bending outward in a way, it's basically acted as a platform. So when the train has overshot it, it's landed on and the tail's almost in line with where the train's landed. So it's a beautiful thing. I don't think it's don't think it's there for that purpose, to be honest, mate. But it couldn't have been more convenient, and I don't think they intended on doing this just to test out the tail. But yeah, that's what caught my attention on social media.
Um,
It's next level ridiculous, is what it is. But yeah, that's
I
what I
feel
saw.
like it's almost like that movie Final Destination, where like people cheat
Yeah,
their death,
yeah,
their death
yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
come
yeah,
finding them
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah,
And there's
yeah.
interesting stories like that where somehow people like survive things, but then just unfortunately then pass on in like the most ridiculous fashion ever. Like that's the
Yeah.
premise of that movie,
Like
right?
someone drops a Coke can out of the window and then it kills him, later on that day or something.
Yeah, just
Anyways,
but
final segment of the show.
yeah, no, final segment.
Yeah, look,
Where we
it's gone quick. We've nearly been talking for an hour. I'm just hoping the listeners have actually stayed in tune. We got a little sidetracked with a couple of the topics there. My laptop story took on a life of its own. I don't know if people would enjoy listening to that, but look, I've told it. It's
I
out there.
enjoy listening to it, and that's all that matters, right, Ted?
Good, good. All right, sweet. But yeah, look, final segment of the show. We're up.
No, it's good. I've actually got a very small, very simple one, so it will not be too time consuming.
Like it.
So for all listeners out there, kind of worked out pretty well. Very simple. So you remember how before I was asking you, with the, how many ice cream cones worth is the savings that we were talking about before?
Yes, yes.
And
And
you're
then
like,
for anyone that
oh,
doesn't know,
I need
final segment of the show is where we recommend something to each other.
correct. And remember, he's like, I need to use a calculator. So it's funny that you said that because what I was thinking about in the last couple of weeks, I realized is my mental maths is shocking. Like, when someone's like, oh, it's like 338 and now you got to, add 47 to it. And then usually it'd be very instant. Like you can just think of it. Like I'm trying to think back in high school and all this,
Totally.
but
When you knew all the times tables and stuff, yeah.
yeah, correct. And I feel like over the years, ironically, actually, whilst working, even though it's with numbers sometimes, I think my natural maths has fallen because we're so reliant on calculators
Oh,
and
totally.
Excel
Yeah.
spreadsheets, and there's no need for it. But and sometimes you just feel a bit slow or sluggish. So I thought like I kind of did a little bit of research and I saw some recommendations. So there's this website called mathtrainer.org.
Cool.
And so basically, it's really simple, but all you do is basically like sets of 12 kind of like really small math questions, like rapid questions, be like, 2 plus 2, 4, and you have to quickly answer it. And then based on your reaction, your numbers, it kind of works out whether you're improving, how you compare to the average person doing it, and just doing like maybe 10 minutes a day or something like that. Because similar to the whole premise with chess, where you want to kind of keep your mind stimulated, I just think like even though it's a very basic, you still want to do it just to keep your mind whirring because it can lead to just better cognitive function. But at least I think in the long run, if you do this a little bit every day, you'll be surprised that sometimes when you need to add up things pretty quick, it will just come back naturally to you.
That's cool. So like kind of mind games, and it's for math particularly. But yeah, I know what you're talking about with the calculator thing. I mean, if someone looked through the history on my calculator, they'd be like, "Whoa, what kid was using your calculator?" But yeah, no, I totally know what you're talking about.
Like 360 plus 40 on a
Dude, I was thinking more basic than that. But yeah, go on.
three
Yeah,
times two.
you've gone for like triple digits plus double digits, dude. You definitely need a calculator for that. Maybe even Microsoft
Eh,
Excel. Get the columns going.
Yeah, get some VBA, scripts. No, it's probably all because I'm on the first week of this math trainer thing. And like I said, it's not complicated. You're literally just practicing mental maths. Just do a little bit every day. Very simple. Mathtrainer.org. That is my recommendation for this week.
Love it. And the nerdy side is coming out of Tony. Love it a lot. Look, my little recommendation for the week is something I've been doing for a little while. It's basically a little productivity technique. We might have discussed it before. I'm hoping not. But if you have heard it before, just stick with me because I don't reckon you're still doing it. This is a good reminder, good refresher. The Pomodoro Technique, which is basically, it was named after this guy that was using a Pomodoro timer, which is that little tomato timer. And he realized that every time he chunked his sections into 25-minute intervals, he was able to increase his productivity to levels that he wasn't able to do previously because he would just have this big long list of things to do and he'd procrastinate, he'd not do stuff. But when your mind, for whatever reason, when your mind chunks things into sort of intervals and 25 minutes seems to be the go-to block, it becomes really productive. It doesn't see it as one huge list. It looks at it as smaller tasks and you kind of fly through it. You've got to have a break in between those 25-minute intervals, whether that's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, just because you go hard in the 25 minutes, right? That's the idea. But if you want to try it out, it's Pomodoro Technique or Pomodoro Timer. And there's a million apps. If you go on App Store on either Google or onto iTunes, there's a million Pomodoro apps. But I'd recommend checking it out for anyone that's looking to improve their productivity. And Tony, yourself, just if you want to improve your own productivity.
Yeah, no, I think we can definitely do things a lot more productive. And I'm kind of hoping as we're kind of getting to a what do we call it, COVID normal and the like, it might start
Yeah.
putting a little bit more structure into things because naturally, as we've talked about before, doing everything from home and all this type of stuff always tends to blur the lines everywhere. So it's very hard to kind of be a bit more,
Oh, for
set,
sure. And
set
look, I
lines.
think everyone wants to be more productive. You don't want to sort of lose productivity during the day, and then next thing you know, you haven't gotten these basic tasks for work done. And instead of going out and going for a walk, you're working until like 7 o'clock at night because you weren't that productive during the day. So I think everyone's looking to have that productive. I think everyone's looking to have a bit more productivity in their lives. And that's just a good little technique to help out because, we're humans, we procrastinate, it's in our nature. And that's just my little tip for you and for any listeners that are looking to improve and level up. But yeah, look, that's pretty much the last segment of the show. But before we move on, we always just hear some words of wisdom from yourself. That seems to be a thing that we've been treating ourselves to on a weekly basis, which I quite enjoy. What have you got for us this week?
I do appreciate the commendation and compliment, and I'm happy to continue providing these
You've
quotes
got the job. You've
and
got the job. That's you hired. I'm not going to let go of you, mate. It's all good.
It's great. I haven't even done my CV, so that works out well. Uh, so what the quote I've got this week is kind of like linked to what I was saying about keeping a sharp mind. I've actually got two. One is from Bruce Lee, which says, "Bring the mind to a sharp focus and make it alert so that it can immediately intuit truth, which is everywhere."
Say that one more time.
It can immediately intuit. I probably pronounced that terribly wrong, but it's basically, like as in it can, what's the word? It can basically immediately like show truth or emit truth, or kind of reveal it in a way, kind of like like intuition. So it's kind of like the verb immediately intuit truth, which is everywhere.
I like it.
So,
I just
so
meant here. It's kind of like to know or understand. I think, and the reason I say I think is because I've just googled it. But yeah, you never hear that word on its own. But yeah, no, that's
ah,
exactly what it is. It's sort of like the short, of intuition. I dig it in a big way.
yeah, correct. And then a very similar quote, which is from a guy called Menander, who I believe is a Greek, like, um, like old back in like kind of ancient Greece, like a
Thought it might have been
dramatist.
Indian.
Menander, no, Menander, pronounced like that, but the
Go on, go.
Menander. So the
Yeah.
and he kind of he said, "The sword, the body wounds; sharp words, the mind."
Oh, I like that. I
Deep.
like that.
I
Yeah,
have to
it
be very
is
careful how you
deep.
pronounce that sentence too, but like it's the sword, the body wounds; sharp words, the mind.
I dig it because it doesn't sort of the second sentence doesn't get pronounced the same as the first, but
Correct.
it completely makes sense.
This is where you might actually put a comma in after words, which it didn't come with, but that would almost make sense.
Yeah,
But,
no,
but
it's all verbal right here. I dig that in a big way, and it's kind of because words really do they carry meaning. That's why when you hear, certain leaders of certain powerful countries out there that say certain things that incite certain acts of violence, words do matter. I'm just saying that could happen in any country all over the world. Yeah, no, look, I like that in a big way. I don't mean to take away from your quote there. I got a little sidetracked. Words are very powerful, and I think we should use them wisely. And I think if you've got something nice to say, definitely say it. But even bad things can be good too if they're going to help someone else be constructive,
correct, constructive
improve their
criticism
own,
and
improve
feedback.
their own lives. Sometimes they need to hear that stuff, man.
And kind of intuitively as well, if you do have like a sharper mind, a bit more clear, you're actually more receptive and open to receiving feedback and constructive criticism. So ironically, it can actually work the other way too if you're the receiving, not just giving, in terms of having that clearer mind. Because if you're not like that, you might end up not taking it well and might, take it the
You
wrong
can.
way. It
I
might
think you should only give it if you know how to take it. And look, ending on a heavy note there, my friend Tony. It's been good. It's been a good. Oh, we've gone over an hour, but things are feeling good. I'm feeling fresh. We're about to go into the weekend. That's another episode of Everyday Conversations. If you've enjoyed it, please jump into your podcast app, leave a review, or jump onto the Instagram page. Tony, give us the Instagram page, please.
at Teddy and Tony podcast.
I love it. And look, when I said peas, I meant please, but I'm not going to go and correct that again because it's out there on the airwaves. And we're not going to be on the airwaves until next week. We're looking forward to bringing you another episode very soon. Stay tuned. We'll be back to chat more everyday conversations with you next time.